Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
राज, बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े-बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी-छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं।
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था। और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा।
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है, Unocoin के साथ।
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं। Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
Guys, we really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
Unocoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the Unocoin app.
Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin.
Get a systematic buying plan from the Unocoin app to get your Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
नमस्ते डियर उनोकॉइनर्स, वंस अगेन वेलकम बैक टू आवर लाइव Q&A सेशन, जहां पर हम हर हफ्ते बात करते हैं काफी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक के बारे में। आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक है वो अभी ऐसा टॉपिक है जिसके बारे में हर कोई चर्चा कर रहा है इन द इंडस्ट्री गिवन द करंट क्रैकडाउन ऑन द इंटरनेशनल एक्सचेंजेस, अदर थिंग्स हैपनिंग अराउंड, एंड उसका जो डिस्कशन है वो हम करने वाले हैं आज दो काफी इंपॉर्टेंट एक्सपर्ट्स के साथ। मिस्टर आदित्य सोमानी, हु ऑल्सो रन्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग ट्विटर हैंडल कॉल्ड बिटकॉइन स्टडी, where he educates about self custody, which is what we'll be talking about today, and Mr. Sunny Ray, the co-founder and the president of Unocoin and your favorite Bitcoin speaker. Hi Sunny, hi Aditya, how are you guys doing today?
Good, very good. Thanks for hosting this. Yeah, and hello Sunny, how are you?
Hello, yeah, I'm well. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a little low.
Awesome.
The volume is a little low, but I think that's fine. So
I'll try
Aditya,
speaking up.
uh-huh.
Oh, I said I'll just try and speak loudly, yeah. But I was just telling you, right? I'm in Costa Rica this week for the Bitcoin Freedom Festival, that Francis and a lot of these guys were hosting. So yeah, I apologize if my audio is a bit off.
No, I think it's
No,
all.
yeah, it's audible, and it's actually very interesting to see you, attend these events all across the globe. Right now, you're in Costa Rica attending Bitcoin for Freedom event, and just today I posted this tweet saying that Bitcoin resonates a lot with Swaraj more than democracy itself. So Swaraj, I don't know if you have the context of it. It's a word that was used at the time of the Indian independence. So that means self-government basically. So my idea was that, Republic Day coming up, we'll be celebrating the democracy and everything, but this is something that we actually need to celebrate and take a stand for. So, by the way, guys, today we have Aditya here. Aditya has been in this space, I wouldn't say crypto space, but Bitcoin space for quite some time now. So, Aditya, this is something that I love to hear from our guest. Something about your journey, like, how did you get into this? I mean, you have told me this a lot of times, but for our audience, like, just tell us something about your journey.
No, no. I think for me, I think it was a little bit different journey. Like I tell my friends and all also about this. Like I was like I did my masters in US, right? So I was about to graduate. My job was lined up and everything. And in summers, I think my professor he was from India as well. Again, he was teaching in US, but he gave me the paper to write on Bitcoin and blockchain, and I had no idea what is it. And it's just started. Then I just started researching on it because I wanted a good grade. After all, I wanted to graduate. So I was forced to research on Bitcoin, which is, I feel I was so lucky to have that. I always say that was the best part of my master's. So yeah, I mean, it started from there, and then it just like all other, right? Like I went into a lot of other tokens and cryptos, and but then again, that's the whole journey. And then I found meaning in Bitcoin, and I just educate about that. I tell my friends, study 1,000 hours, put in the 1,000 hours. Buying is secondary. Studying is more important, because what I've seen in the bear markets, the people who actually understand benefits from Bitcoin. Who don't will just, they'll just believe in a lot of the other stuff which is not important. So yeah.
100%, 100%. And, this is very interesting because I think there was this discussion happening the other day where we were talking about how most people's journey in crypto, or let's say Bitcoin, starts with the attraction of the kind of money it's bringing to you. But yours started very differently on an academic front. I think it should happen in every university at least once in their, academic career. Everybody should get this paper to write so that they understand the importance of this particular asset. So, Sunny, coming to you, Unocoin has always promoted self custody. We have always kept our crypto withdrawals enabled. We also have a paper wallet, to kind of promote self custody. So, what was the idea? Because we don't see a lot of other people doing that right now in India, and you guys kept going with the same narrative you started with.
I mean, in short, it's in line with the goal of bringing financial freedom to people, and a big part of freedom is control, right? If you don't control your own keys, you don't control your destiny. And so yeah, I think for us it's like that. That's always been one of the most exciting things about Bitcoin, is the fact that you can take control of it, unlike, let's say even your bank account or many other cases where people feel like they have control, but when push comes to shove, they don't. And when you think deeply about it and you realize that that's, a big important part, yeah, for us, it's always been front and center. And it's a bit, sad to see that a lot of companies now are not allowing withdrawals, or they're pivoting to a different business model that doesn't enable that. And so for us, we're really proud of the fact that that's happening. But today I'd love to keep our focus on Aditya, because I mean, people have heard me talk about Bitcoin, till I'm blue in the face. But it's refreshing to hear younger people that are, up and coming in the space, and that are advocating for a similar message. So I'm excited about this call. But yeah, for us, it's always been key.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Aditya, something that we hear very often in the industry, that people lost their hardware wallet, or people lost their bitcoins that were in cold storages and wallets. And, kind of because of this, a lot of people try and avoid storage as well, like having self custody. A lot of people prefer putting it on, let's say, exchanges or hot wallets and stuff like that for the very same reason. So why should somebody consider self custody over a third party custody?
No, I think that's a great question. And but if you read the white paper of Bitcoin when Satoshi dropped it on October 31st, 2008, the whole point, the first line of the white paper said a peer-to-peer transaction with no trusted third party. Again, the whole point of decentralization, or whole point of Bitcoin, if you want to keep it like, if Bitcoin is something which is truly scarce, if Bitcoin is something which is totally different from the other assets, like we have the traditional assets, then what makes it unique? There are two things which makes it unique: that it's truly scarce, 21 million, you can verify the code, nobody can mess with it. Even if Satoshi comes back, even he can't do anything, because the node runners has to make that ultimate choice, like if they want to run that software or not. And the second most important thing is self custody, where you are the one who owns that Bitcoin, right? And initially, as a beginner, I remember I kept it on exchange for a long time, like 7, 8 months or something, because I was terrified with the idea of, because we are brought up in a way like we don't want to own anything, right? Like the bank accounts, everything's held, like there is a backup. If we lose a password, we can just click on forget password, things like this. So it's a very difficult thing, like to take that, to build that habit. But as soon as I was like, one day, I was like, no, I mean, this is the whole point. I need to do it. So I started it. I ordered a hardware wallet and just added. It's a very easy setup. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can just move your Bitcoin there, and then you can transact and you can bring it back to exchange. And there's nothing like on exchange, whenever it moves from exchange to your hardware wallet, it's like, again, the exchange would have the record, like where it's going. So it's not something, if they have done the KYC or anything which we say of a customer, it's nothing, like you hold it, that's it. And then if you want to sell it or want to do that, you can just send it back. So for me, I think that's why it was so important and such an easy idea. Like initially it took me a little bit, maybe to change my habit, it took me a little time, but as soon as I was in it, like now I can't think about it. Like I mean, it's that simple. Once you set up, it's set up. You have those key phrases, and then as soon as you have those phrases, but the most important thing which you said, like people lose, and there's a record. I don't know, maybe Sunny, if you can correct me, but there's an estimate that close to 2 million Bitcoin is lost since 2010 or whatever. No, but maybe
Oh
I'm
no, I
wrong.
can believe that. No, I can
Yeah.
believe that. But it's I was shaking my head thinking how
Yeah.
sad that is.
Because initially there was no hardware wallets, there were like very
Mm.
shaky exchanges, a lot of people lost on exchange, mount gox, a lot of things happened even before I came in. Like when I see the history, because I went back to 1980s where it all started, it was not 2008. So it's just the fascinating idea, like how much we have developed today. Like there are Bitcoin specific hardware wallets, there are hot wallets, there are so much stuff. If you learn, if you study, if you put in your 100 hours, at least 100 hours, it's very easy that you will not lose it, and you will secure it in the most possible best way. And we can even go in the best way if you would like, but
Uh,
it's very
yeah,
easy.
I'm curious to know what your best way is. Like, I mean, two questions. What's your favorite Bitcoin wallet, right? Where you hold your own keys, like iPhone, Android. And the second question I have is, what's your favorite hardware wallet?
I have like very rarely used any like a hot wallet. Like I've only kept it on exchange or something, right? Like I only use hardware wallet where I just move it. Like I know you were asking like App Store wallet. I've like hardly used it. Like I've used Strike or Cash App, like in US. But again, that's just a buy and sell thing. You can, but it's not a wallet like wallet of Satoshi or something. I've heard about it, never tried it. However, I use hardware wallet. My journey started from Ledger, uh, like which a lot of people will be aware of. But then I wanted to go in like what is the best security, like the best Bitcoin only wallet, because my goal is to focus there. And then as soon as you start searching that, the first thing comes up is cold card. So
Hey, Aditya, yesterday I was hanging out with NVK.
Oh, nice.
Rodolfo. He's
Yeah,
one of the two
Enrique is a founder.
co-founders.
I think he's a founder of Cold Kite, which is a company who makes cold card. And
Mm-hmm.
what a fantastic product! It's such a user friendly. You don't even have to connect it to the internet.
We're
There is an
we're
option you can
we're
connect it.
and he asked me, Rodolfo asked me how we can work closely together to bring more cold cards to India. So maybe
Yeah,
we can, I don't know, do something like more in
I
collaboration with
even
them. But I'm a big fan of their work. Big
I
fan of their work.
they are based in Canada as well. And then
They
I
live, yeah, they live near me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I remember one day I tweeted to NVK like, hey, you know what? Like India needs cold card. What's the best way? And he told me like find a good importer. So yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
No, there's actually some work around that, so we'll figure that out. Yeah, go ahead, Shambhavi.
sorry.
I'm so sorry. I mean, this is such an interesting conversation going on, but I see a lot of our viewers are getting a little restless in the comment section. First of all, Aditya, we have a lot of your fans over here. We have Pradeep, we have Arjun here. Malika Arjun is saying Hindi में please. तो I'm sure आदित्य आप हिंदी में ये चीज़
ठीक
पूरी
है.
बता सकते हैं.
हाँ.
तो यहाँ पे मल्लिका अर्जुन का एक इंटरेस्टिंग सा क्वेश्चन है जो आप आंसर कर सकते हैं. उनका क्वेश्चन है कि व्हाट हैपेंस इफ आई हैव अ बिटकॉइन फोर्क, प्लीज एक्सप्लेन इन हिंदी.
Sorry, what happens if what? Fork.
बिटकॉइन फोर्क.
Oh, I mean, I'm not very expert in that part, but again, that's something have happened in the past. जो पहले हो चुका है, it's just that there is a disagreement, right, Sunny? Maybe you can talk a little bit about it, but again, that's not something which is अभी जो बहुत ही पॉसिबल है बिकॉज अगेन राइट नाउ हम बहुत ही ज़्यादा नेटवर्क अगर आप देखते हो बिटकॉइन का नेटवर्क इट्स वेरी डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड बिकॉज ये बिटकॉइन एक लौता ऐसा नेटवर्क है जिसके लाइक इफ़ यू सी द पीपल हु आर रनिंग जो नोड रन कर रहे हैं वो ऑल अराउंड द वर्ल्ड स्प्रेडेड है जो माइनिंग कर रहे हैं वो ऑल अराउंड द वर्ल्ड है अगेन मैं ट्विटर पे देख रहा था देर आर सम डिसएग्रीमेंट्स बिटवीन पीपल बिकॉज अगेन बिटकॉइन इज फॉर द पीपल राइट एज यू सेड डेमोक्रेसी it's for the people there's no ceo no founder or nobody no team who's saying hey do this is a roadmap nothing like it's the people जो decide करेंगे कैसे change करना है क्या करना है we had हमने lightning network लाया था but again जो ये डर है जो fork का bitcoin fork हो जाएगा like there will be a different version of bitcoin I know ETF में काफी ये आया था BlackRock ने एक statement लिखा था अगर जब fork हुआ तो हम चूज करेंगे कि हमें किधर जाना है बट अगर इवन फोर्क हुआ लाइक मैं जहाँ तक समझता हूँ सनी मे भी आप करेक्ट करना मुझे बिकॉज आई एम नॉट इन टेक्निकल बट फोर्क इवन इफ लेट्स से सतोशी वापस आ जाता है एंड बोलता है कि आज से बिटकॉइन मुझे 42 मिलियन करना है राइट लाइक मे बी दैट्स वेयर लाइक वो फोर्क होगा वेयर अदर पीपल वुड रन दैट इफ ही बिलीव दे बिलीव इन दैट बट आई थिंक इट्स वेरी नेक्स्ट टू हाई लाइक वेरी लेस प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट हम वो इसमें जाएगी कि पीपल डिसाइड कि हमें अभी दूसरे इसमें जाना बिकॉज बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऑलरेडी हो चुकी है देर इज बिटकॉइन कैश देर इज बिटकॉइन एसवी देर इज लॉट ऑफ स्टफ जो ये फोर्क ही है एक तरीके के इवन मे बी आई डोंट नो इफ आई एम रॉन्ग बट लाइट कॉइन भी एक फोर्क ही था बट आई डोंट सी दैट थ्रेट एज ऑफ नाउ बट
आई थिंक फोर्क के साथ एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज जो होती है वो होती है कि ये बस हो गया देयर वाज अ स्लाइट डिसएग्रीमेंट बिटवीन द कम्युनिटी दे वांटेड टू क्रिएट अ डिफरेंट वर्जन ऑफ बिटकॉइन उन्होंने एक डिफरेंट वर्जन क्रिएट कर दिया एंड जो लोग उसमें बिलीव करते थे वो उनके साथ साथ चले गए लेकिन अगर मल्लिका अर्जुन का यहाँ पे सवाल है कि व्हाट हैपेंस इफ आई हैव अ फोर्क तो कुछ होगा नहीं आई मीन बाकी क्रिप्टो करेंसीज की तरह उसके भी प्राइस मूवमेंट्स अप्स एंड डाउन्स होते रहेंगे आप कैपिटल रोटेशन में शायद कुछ प्राइस एक्शन देख लो बट एज ऑफ नाउ फोर्क का मार्केट बहुत डल है सो अगर आपको मन है तो अभी भी मौका है यू मीन आई मीन जस्ट बाय बिटकॉइंस
अगर
नॉट अ
फोर्क हुआ
फाइनेंशियल
भी
एडवाइस
शाम्भवी अगर फोर्क हुआ भी तो इट विल बी अ डिफरेंट टोकन सो व्हाटएवर यू आर होल्डिंग इन योर सेल्फ कस्टडी आई डोंट थिंक सो उसका कुछ अफेक्ट होना बिकॉज दिस नेटवर्क
नहीं what he is asking is what happens if I have a bitcoin fork so I think his question is कि अगर उनके पास उन्होंने कोई bitcoin fork खरीदा है तो फिर उसका क्या होगा this is my understanding of his question I don't know I mean I could be wrong so मल्लिका अर्जुन आप थोड़ा क्लैरिफाई कर दीजिए कमेंट सेक्शन में तो हम बेटर आंसर दे पाएंगे आपके सवाल का सनी do you want to add anything to this
Yeah, and by the way, I understood everything you guys said, but my Hindi is not as good, so you might want to rephrase it again, Shambhavi. But I wanted to say maybe three things. So first is that one of the best things about Bitcoin is that it's open source. Yeah, it's open source, and so that's a bit of a double-edged sword. Why? Because what it does is it's great because the whole world can see that Bitcoin is what we say it is. But it's also actually, I don't think it's a negative. I think it's a positive. Is that if let's say Aditya, me, Shambhavi, we thought no, we have a better way for the future of Bitcoin. We can fork Bitcoin ourselves. And this has happened in the past. A couple of small points. When that happens, let's say the custodied Bitcoin that Aditya is holding in his cold card wallet, he will have the private keys for both chains, meaning he will have the normal Bitcoin. And let's say some other coin now takes on let's say Bitcoin is worth $50,000 and this other random coin goes and finds a market price of 5,000. Aditya now has $55,000 in value, meaning he can take that old other fork, like maybe I won't say too much, but I know people, let's say, around us that have done that, and they went and bought a car, meaning they didn't believe in Roger Ver's future. So then they that was enough for
Oh, I
them
didn't
to
knew
go and
that.
buy, an expensive car. My point is, it doesn't hurt the people who are hodling. Yeah. So maybe I don't know, Shambhav, if you want to rephrase that, like, so open source is
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But Sunny,
yeah,
I think
and
Malika,
you.
I think it would be
that's a
better if
really good
Malika Arjun.
point. And then Sunny,
Yeah,
I
it
think
is
that's a really
indeed.
good point. Like even I didn't knew. So I would now hope there is some fork where I can use that free money and buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, I always say that if
Well,
there's one thing I
I
like,
know people.
if there's one thing I like more than Bitcoin, it's freedom, right? And so, I mean, although I disagree with Roger and what they did, but it's a free market. He should be able to do whatever he wants. I'm not going to put a gun to his head. But the final point I was going to say, Aditya, I know you're trying to work on converting the book, what's it called?
Bitcoin standard.
Saif
Bitcoin standards.
Bitcoin Standard into Hindi. The second book you want to convert is is it Block Wars, I think, or something like that. The one that talks about this whole story in 2017, what happened, and it's, I think, by Aaron. It's a beautiful book. And if this lady is really interested, she can read that book when we make a Hindi version. Yeah.
Absolutely, I'd love that.
But do you
Okay.
want to convert
So,
some of that to Hindi though? Because I kind of said it all in English and she was very insistent on Hindi.
oh, that's fine. I think
We're good?
Malika Arjun here, I think he needs to rephrase his question. क्योंकि उन्होंने भी he himself is saying that he wants an explanation in Hindi, but I'm not sure if he phrased it correctly. Maybe we were not able to get the question. So Malika Arjun, if you're still watching this, आप हिंदी में अपना question rephrase करके हमसे पूछिए and हम आपको उसका और better answer दे पाएंगे. Now we have Viv here who's saying, according to a 2020 report by Chain Analysis, a forensic company around 3.7 million bitcoins have been lost. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think
Very
even
nice. I
I did a
mean,
post some time back
every
on that.
so even I think Hal Finney or Satoshi, somebody said it. Satoshi, I think, who the founder was. Like, जब भी Bitcoin lose होता है या Bitcoin अगर तुम खो देते हो, it's a charity to every other Bitcoiner because that Bitcoin अब वापस कोई खरीद नहीं सकता, ना उसको बेच सकता है, कुछ नहीं कर सकता, तो वो एक तुमने charity दे दी. But again, ऐसी charity ना कीजिए. Like it's very easy to learn. उसको बहुत ही अच्छे से समझिए, बहुत अच्छे से सीखिए. एक बार आपका हाथ बैठ गया, लाइक आपको समझ में आ गया, लाइक उससे ज़्यादा इजी कोई चीज़ नहीं है. सेल्फ कस्टडी इज द मोस्ट ईजिएस्ट थिंग और बहुत ही अच्छा तुम्हें फीलिंग रहता है वेर यू आर नॉट कंट्रोल्ड बाय एनीवन, राइट? लाइक यू कैन मेक योर डिसीजन.
100% agreed. And I think we have our second question related to that itself. Crypto Trailblazers here is asking, what happens to lost bitcoins after all 21 million bitcoins are mined?
सो या आई मीन व्हाट एज आई सेड कि जो भी बिटकॉइन खो गए हैं वो खो गए, लाइक उसको अब कोई नहीं ला सकता
कुछ नहीं हो
वापस.
सकता उसका.
तो ऐसा बोलते हैं, राइट? लाइक सतोशी जब चालू किया था माइन करना, बिकॉज सतोशी ने खुद को बिटकॉइन गिफ्ट नहीं दे दिए थे, ही हैड टू माइन इट, ही हैड टू वर्क फॉर इट. दैट्स व्हाई हम बोलते हैं प्रूफ ऑफ वर्क, वेयर ही हैड टू run the network, he had to run that like he had to mine the genesis block. तो 50 बिटकॉइन हर 10 मिनट में वो माइन करते थे स्टार्टिंग में. तब सिर्फ एक या दो लोग थे जो बैक एंड फोर्थ माइन कर रहे थे. देयर वाज नॉट मेनी पीपल, देयर वर हार्डली फ्यू पीपल फॉर. सो बोलते 1 मिलियन सतोशी के पास है, ऐसा बोलते. लाइक वी कैन नॉट कंफर्म हाउ मेनी ही हैज, बट 1 मिलियन इज विद सतोशी इज व्हाट द रूमर्स इन द सोसाइटीज. बट इवन दैट आज तक कभी वो यूज नहीं हुआ, तो इट्स ऑलवेज देयर. जो बिटकॉइन ऑलरेडी लूज हो गए 3 लाख 3 मिलियन या 2 मिलियन जो भी, वो भी हमेशा रहेगी ब्लॉकचेन में। बिटकॉइन जब तुम सेल्फ कस्टडी भी करते हो, तुम अपने हार्डवेयर वॉलेट में बिटकॉइन नहीं ला रहे, तुम अपने हार्डवेयर वॉलेट में सिर्फ एक की रख रहे हो, विच इज दैट फ्रेज। जो की अभी जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल घर होता है, राइट? तो तुम घर की चाबी जो है वो तुम्हारे पास है, बाकी घर के अंदर जो भी है वो बिटकॉइन उधर है, लाइक बिटकॉइन वो हार्डवेयर वॉलेट में नहीं है। तो ये मत समझना कि तुम्हारा हार्डवेयर वॉलेट चोरी हो गया तो तुम्हारे बिटकॉइन चले गए, नहीं। जो की है, जो 24 वर्ड्स या 12 वर्ड्स जो भी तुम सेट करते हो, तुम्हारी चॉइस है, वो वर्ड्स अगर तुम्हें याद है या तुमने लिख के रखे, उसके बैकअप रेडी है, तो कल चल के तुम्हारा हार्डवेयर वॉलेट टूट जाए, गिर जाए, चोरी हो जाए, कुछ भी हो जाए, तुम जाके नया खरीद सकते हो एंड वापस तुम्हारा एक्सेस आ जाएगा बिटकॉइन में। ऑल यू नीड इज द की विच जो तुम्हें अच्छे से सिक्योर करना है। और हार्डवेयर वॉलेट क्या करता है, जब भी ट्रांसैक्शन भी करना है, जैसे मुझे अगर सनी को बिटकॉइन भेजना है तो वो मैं हार्डवेयर वॉलेट में अप्रूवल दूंगा, तो वो उसका भी काम करता है। तो हार्डवेयर वॉलेट दो काम करता है, एक तो की स्टोर कर रहा है हमारे, एंड सेकेंडली व्हेन ट्रांसैक्शन, तो वो वहां से सिग्नल भेजता है कि या दिस आई एम आदित्य सोमानी, इसके बिटकॉइन इसमें है एंड यू नो ये ऑथराइज कर रहा है इन ऑर्डर टू सेंड दैट बिटकॉइन टू सनी। So I think that's where people are confused. A lot of people ask me question as well, like, what if my hardware wallet is lost, my Bitcoin is lost then? No. If you have the seed phrase with you, your hardware wallet, even if it's lost, corrupt, or broken, whatever, you still have access.
एब्सोल्युटली, बट द ओनली डिफरेंस बिटवीन घर की चाबी एंड ये वाली चाबी इस कि घर की चाबी खो गई तो दोबारा बनवाई जा सकती है, इसकी चाबी खो गई तो फिर कुछ हो नहीं सकता है।
Good
तो
point.
इसकी
Yeah.
चाबी को संभाल के रखना है इज द क्रूशियल पार्ट। And I think with the emergence of the banking system, we got too dependent on external systems to store our money, to store our wealth, that you know we are too underconfident to have a self custody. And that is something that I see in a lot of folks around in the industry right now. Of course, newcomers will have this challenge, and इसी के लिए before we end the session, I think मैं सनी और आदित्य आप दोनों से I'll ask this one whole procedure of how to set up self custody for the people who are watching this and who haven't yet set up their self custody yet. उनके लिए process आसान हो जाएगा। But उसके पहले हमारे पास थोड़े questions है। Let's
Hey,
first see.
Shambhavi, I just have a quick question. So, like, people understand what it means to take custody of gold, correct? Like in
But
India, I assume, like, or no, like, I mean, I'm just saying is like, because if you take it's, I mean, I think of it, it's similar to like gold, as in, if you lose that bar of gold, like, you're not getting it back, type of thing,
so
right? But if you keep that gold safe, it's yours, and that's what Bitcoin is like, as in that AAX, like the alphanumeric, whatever, so many key like that. If you keep that safe, like you would keep a bar of gold safe, then you would have access to it. But if you lose that, then you're done. But you can also, because it's just an information, you can also put that on 3 pieces of paper, put it in one vault, one in another vault, or there's something called what's it called? Like shared custody, or like, sorry, multi-sig. Sorry, Casa. I don't know, Aditya, if you want to talk about that maybe later on, but there's something called, there's a tool called Casa, which allows you to have, let's say, one cold card, one ledger, one Trezor, and now you're using all three of them to access your Bitcoin. So you can put one in Bangalore, one in London, one in Japan. But like if you wanted to access it, you could get two of those three together. But my point is, like ultimately, it's like kind of like gold. Yeah, you need to take responsibility yourself.
absolutely, but
And
again,
also to
Sunny,
add that, Shambhavi, just to bring that, that's a very good point कि जब हम गोल्ड भी खरीदते हैं इंडिया में, हम जब गोल्ड खरीदने जाते हैं ज्वेलर के पास, तो हम ज्वेलर के पास गोल्ड रख के नहीं आते, उसको घर लेके आते, राइट? तो ये वही कॉन्सेप्ट है। बिटकॉइन भी जब तुम एक्सचेंज में जाके खरीद रहे हो तो उसको उधर मत रखो, इट मेक्स जीरो सेंस, क्योंकि तुम गोल्ड अपने ज्वेलर की दुकान में रख रहे हो। दैट मीन्स वो ज्वेलर अगर कल चल के कुछ भी हो, उसको मूव करना पड़े, कुछ भी हो, उसकी दुकान टूट जाए, अर्थक्वेक, तुम्हारे बिटकॉइन भी, गोल्ड भी उसके साथ चला गया। तो ये सिमिलर कॉन्सेप्ट है कि जिस तरह तुम गोल्ड दुकान में नहीं रखते, लेके आते हो, वैसे ही बिटकॉइन भी लाना है। और बिटकॉइन को तुम स्टोर करने के अलग अलग तरीके हैं। अभी तुम शुरुआत, अगर इफ यू आर अ बिगिनर, यू कैन स्टार्ट विद अ हॉट वॉलेट, बट लेट्स से यू बिकम मेक्स लिटिल बिट सिग्निफिकेंट अमाउंट ऑफ बिटकॉइन योर मनी, start with single sig. Single sig is a very easy concept. And then if you are more pro and your Bitcoin is, let's say, more in value, where you want to get extra security, for example, तुम 10 ग्राम सोने को किस तरह सिक्योर करोगे, 1 किलो सोने को कैसे सिक्योर करोगे और 100 किलो सोने को कैसे कवर, इट्स ऑल दैट कॉन्सेप्ट. अगर ये 10 ग्राम है तो तुम हॉट वॉलेट में रखो, इट्स नॉट वेरी हाई रिस्क. इफ यू लूज इट, आई मीन इट्स नॉट गुड टू लूज, बट something bad, your life won't be affected. But if you have 1 kg of gold, you will protect in a different way, which is single sig in case of Bitcoin. If you have like more, then you do multi sig. Multi sig is also very easy, but again, I don't know if audience wants to go in there, but there are a lot of videos on YouTube. Just Google, and there's a YouTuber called BTC Session. Follow them, follow him. He will give you every single idea you need to self custody.
He's also from Canada.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all good ones are in Canada. I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah, it's something interesting in the air. But yeah, Shambhavi, go ahead. I think you said there's many questions, but Aditya and I are getting a bit
Yes.
overexcited here with our love for Bitcoin.
Well, Bitcoiners here, excitement is bound to be here, so we can't do anything about excitement. Okay, so yes, we have another question here by Abhijit, who's saying, "Hi, I'm a bit late. Sorry, no problem, Abhijit. Self custody means to have your crypto in a non custodial hardware wallet. What's the best one to hold my sats? Any recommendations, Aditya and Sunny?"
If he
Oh, I
said
was saying
SAT,
cold card. I said, oh, Sats,
yeah, I mean
non-custodial hardware
Bitcoin.
wallet. I would say look up a company called CoinKite. They make a bunch of different products. One is Cold Card. They have a new one now that looks like a BlackBerry, right? Like a calculator,
Yeah,
like a
it's
big. It's like
bit
a really cool one.
expensive though.
What is it called? What is it called?
I don't know the
You
exact name, but
know?
I've seen it's like exactly like a
I just
BlackBerry
saw it
where
today. I
they have a
forgot its
camera.
name.
It looks super
I
cool.
saw
But
it just today.
cold card. Short answer, cold card, I think .com or something like that. You can Google it, but cold card is the best one. In my view, it's Bitcoin only. It's built by just to give you a little bit of a backstory. So Pete, I won't even mention his name, but the guy, the brains behind it, right? Like the technology is created by a gentleman who I heard that you know when like your plane is landing at an airport and there's like these people who sit in that glass like tower and they see like the plane blinking on a screen. You've seen it in movies, right? You know what I'm talking about? That system was built by the guy who built Cold Card, meaning these guys are like next level. And they've been, and I was just saying, Rodolfo was, I think, the first Bitcoiner I ever met in Toronto in like 2013 or 2014. Like when I first came here and I told people, oh, I'm in the Bitcoin scene. They were like, "Oh, you got to meet Rodolfo." So these guys are OGs. They don't believe in anything but Bitcoin. They're what you call Bitcoin maximalists. And you know, if your focus is Bitcoin, which is where I always say it should be, I'm sure Aditya agrees there. Then yeah, cool. And you're starting to build up a little bit of a portfolio or like a little bit of like like a substantial amount of Bitcoin. Cold Card, yeah, and stay tuned because, like I said, Unocoin and Cold Card, we're literally in talks right now to figure out how we can make it easier for people to, buy these Cold Cards, yeah, from our site.
Absolutely, and I think that's a great thing because Unocoin comes up with the best kind of solution for its customers. And looking at it, I just feel so proud. There are people in the industry right now who are not helping the situation. There are so many things going on. I mean, this is not the place to talk about all of that. But then Unocoin taking a forefront over there and trying to help the users is the best thing that's happening.
Yeah,
And
and I think that's really important as well. If you understood Bitcoin, if you put in that 1,000 hours, if you have studied, if you have read the book, you will be threatened to keep anywhere else. You will love to self custody because that's part of it, and it's very easy, as I said. And I think I know Sunny said cold card. Cold card is the best option, but let's say it's little expensive, थोड़ा सा महंगा है, but अगेन वो चलेगा काफ़ी टाइम तक और बहुत सिक्योर्ड रखेगा. तो एज पे आई नो, क्योंकि जब वो कनाडा से इंडिया आता है देर आर कस्टम ड्यूटीज एंड ऑल, सो इट्स क्लोज टू लिटिल बिट मोर एक्सपेंसिव देन द अदर ऑप्शंस वी हैव. But yeah, just explore all the
And for those people who, let's say, don't or cannot afford buying a cold card, I would highly suggest looking up. They're hot wallets, but they're wallets where you control the private key. So the private key is literally on your phone. And a wallet of Satoshi, I think Aditya mentioned earlier, and just Google, wallet of Satoshi, other competitors. One that I heard recently, but again, this is not a Bitcoin only wallet, is Trust Wallet. But again, you hold your own keys. That's kind of the key. Yeah, blockchain.com, if
Even
I'm not
Coinbase
mistaken.
wallet is active, I think, in India. I don't know what, but I.
Okay. Well, Coinbase's wallet, yes. So if they have it, but the point is you want to use something where you control your keys, step one, and then as you keep building, you maybe move towards something like a cold card.
Yeah, cold card is
Yeah,
Absolutely,
nice.
absolutely. I think that is a really necessary piece of advice, and I think it also is in line with what Aditya just explained, saying, if you have 10 grams of gold, this is what you need to use. If you have 100 grams of
exactly,
gold, this is what you need to use. So, I mean, as
exactly.
the number of Satoshis or let's say Bitcoins keep increasing in your custody, just try using different methods and going more secure as you kind of accumulate more coins. Okay, we are getting a lot of questions here.
Maybe
Bitcoin
we should be
campus
doing
is
more these sessions with Aditya if there's so many questions.
absolutely. I'd love that. I'd love that. In the amounts Aditya has got knowledge about the industry and the kind of clarity is something that I truly and genuinely appreciate. Not a lot of people going around right now because I keep meeting a bunch of people who are into the crypto space as a whole, and then they have so many opinions, they have so many things, but something they lack is clarity on a lot of fronts. Aditya has a lot of clarity, and that is something I truly appreciate about him. And not just him, I think the entire group of Desi Bitcoin show, those people have got some serious hardcore beliefs in Bitcoin, and
because
I just
because
love to see
Shambhavi,
their
I
growth.
think that happened because we saw, like, ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग day one से Bitcoin में आ गए या day one से we saw the value. Desi Bitcoin show maybe a lot of people have done a lot of cryptos. Like, we have learned the lesson, and that's how clarity comes. So I agree with it. But if you listen to those people, get their stories, then you can be focused. It's very easy. It's once in a lifetime
And
opportunity.
more than clarity, I would say animal magnetism.
True.
No, I'm kidding. Keep going, keep going.
Okay. Now, moving to some other questions. Bitcoin Campus here is saying very good convo. Thank you so much. Keep joining us. We do this every week. So, I mean, just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere, and just stay tuned. Okay. He was also giving some suggestions on a wallet. Abhijit here is asking, how can I generate seed phrase on my own? I want to avoid the generation of seed phrase by the wallet. So, is there a system where we could do that?
Yes, there is a system. Again, I've never tried. If you are that expert, like, go ahead. There are YouTube videos, but I can't speak how to do that because I've never done it myself. But even in the cold card, there is option of roll the dice. The number will come up because how the words are set is ki BIP 1339. There is a list on GitHub, right? It's an open source list. जहाँ पे 2048 words already preset है. बिटकॉइन कम्युनिटी अग्रीड ऑन इट कि जो भी पास फ्रेज बनेंगे 12 शब्द 24 शब्द उसी में से आएंगे, वही लिस्ट में से आएंगे. तो आई थिंक और हर एक वर्ड के आगे एक नंबर है 001 002 ऐसे 2048 तक. So I think roll the dice is mainly maybe like you roll the dice, random number comes in, that becomes your word. So that's how you make random words. I have no idea. You can try it yourself. Cold card has that functionality. I mean, you can use cold card to do that.
Yes, please. I mean, cold card is this, and then of course, I mean, at the end of the day, the best suggestion or the option that you might have is doing your own research and being careful with it. I mean,
Absolutely.
that is very much important.
Because there are
So,
ledger, there are treasure, there are cold card, there are a lot of wallets. So depends on your budget and all, but it's your journey, your research, how much comfortable you are with what. I started with ledger, ended up with cold card. So again, it's your journey.
absolutely. So, I mean, Abhijit, if that answers your question, and if you have anything more to ask, feel free to drop in the comment section. Pradeep Prasad is saying Unocoin enable lightning withdrawal. Pradeep, we have already, like, I think our support team has also replied to you here that we have already enabled Lightning Network for Bitcoin. You will find the deposit section, but I think the withdrawal section is under a bit of work. So you'll see this by the end of the month or something. Or I think you can get in touch with our CC team. They'll give you a clear update on this.
या एंड जो
So,
एक चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ, ऑडियंस अगर सोच रहे हो कि लाइटनिंग नेटवर्क क्या है, लाइक बिटकॉइन नेटवर्क जो बेस लेयर है, राइट, उसमें जब हम ट्रांसैक्ट करते हैं एक जन से दूसरे जन, द फीस आर लिटिल बिट हायर एंड उसका काम ही वो है क्योंकि उसका ब्लॉक छोटा है, लाइक देयर कुड बी ओनली 3 to 4 thousand ट्रांसैक्शन ऑन एवरेज. तो जो सबसे ज्यादा फीस देगा, जिसका जितना अर्जेंट है, हाउ मच दे कैन पे, it depends on that. So there is a website called mempool.space, where mempool dot space, where you can go and see what's the fees. So usually $1 $2 is the fees, but अब बीच में बिटकॉइन में ऐसा हो गया था कि फीस बहुत ऊपर चली गई थी, $10 $20 चली गई. तो अगर आपको 10,000 रुपये भेजने हैं तो आप नेसेसरली 2,000 3,000 रुपये नहीं दोगे, राइट, फीस के. और इसीलिए लाइटनिंग नेटवर्क का इन्वेंशन भी हुआ था, वेयर यू कैन डू, इट्स अ लेयर 1 ऑन बिटकॉइन, वेयर देयर इज नो डिफरेंट टोकन, सो डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज. इट्स जस्ट अ लाइटनिंग नेटवर्क जहाँ पे यू कैन डू द ट्रांसैक्शन out of the main base layer in cheap, like it's very close to none, like the fees is really small. And then once you are done with it, and let's say, so for example, it's like अगर तुम्हारे पास 10 किलो सोना है और तुम्हें 10-20 ग्राम लेके घूमना है, तो आप लाइटनिंग वॉलेट में लेके घूमिए, बट 10 किलो को सिक्योर कीजिए. तो इट्स अ सिमिलर कॉन्सेप्ट. So if you want to do major big transaction, you can do it on Bitcoin. But if this is day to day, you want to buy coffee, stuff like those, you can put it in the Lightning Network. So that's what I think they were saying. Unocoin allows or not withdrawal or not.
एंड आई थिंक अगर मुझे इसको थोड़ा और सिंप्लीफाई करना है तो इसका एक एग्जांपल जो मैंने एक अपनी वीडियो में भी दिया था फॉर ऊनो कॉइन, दैट थिंक ऑफ इट दिस वे, देयर इज वन रोड एंड देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ ट्रैफिक ऑन इट. सो व्हाट दीस पीपल डिड, दे क्रिएटेड अ ब्रिज ओवर दैट रोड. सो अब नीचे वाला ट्रैफिक जो है वो ऊपर की तरफ ही डाइवर्ट हो गया है, क्रिएटिंग द ईज ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन. सो जो आपकी ट्रांजैक्शन फी जो हाई हो रही थी, उसका रीजन ये था कि बहुत सारे ट्रांजैक्शन एक टाइम पर हो रहे थे. अब अगर इसको हमने डिवाइड करके दो जगह पे डाइवर्सिफाई कर दिया है, तो उससे ये हो रहा है कि ट्रैफिक रिड्यूस हो गया और आराम से ट्रांजैक्शंस जो है दे मूविंग वेरी स्मूथली अक्रॉस. सो दैट इज
But
द
Lightning Network does not give Bitcoin security. So you have to understand,
यस
वो
यस
bridge वो same इसका नहीं है. It's a different layer जहाँ पे तुम अपने छोटे मोटे अमाउंट रख सकते हो Lightning wallet में, कर सकते हो. But if it's a significant amount for your life, like I don't know, every number is different for every people, then don't keep on Lightning Network, I would suggest.
Yeah, 100%. So, okay, who else do we have here? Viv here is saying there's so many crazy stories about lost bitcoins. The man who lost 8,000 bitcoins and is trying to find it in a garbage dump, etc. Of Ripple with 7,000 bitcoins in an encrypted USB with one attempt left. Okay.
Because
One attempt
it
Yeah.
left.
was
मतलब I
it
think
was in cents and there was no value. तब लोगों ने सोचा Bitcoin was like, I don't know, people didn't took care of it back in. I know Sunny was back there in 2011. He knows better, but people took it for
Yeah,
granted.
even me, I famously lost, I think, 14 bitcoins one time
What?
because I didn't back up a,
oh,
a hot wallet.
I
Yeah,
wish I
it
find
hurts.
your keys.
It hurts to say it. Yeah, and it was my kids. They were like super young and they just playing with my phone or something and they deleted. So like I was talking about how you can have your own keys on your own wallet. Well, if you don't back it up properly, like I didn't in that case, because I was just gonna move some from, I was gonna go meet somebody, and it was hell. Like, I mean, to this day, I wake up in like a cold sweat in the middle of the night, with thoughts of that nightmare. But I think but the point is, uh, what is it called? What is that famous line from Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. The uncle when he tells Spider-Man. So I think that's kind of the name of the game. Just like gold, right? If you lose your hunk of gold that you were passed down from your grandmother or your great grandmother, it's gone, right? Like meaning, so Bitcoin, you have to exercise a lot of responsibility and really pay attention. And the best thing you can do is more than buying Bitcoin is study Bitcoin.
That's the mantra.
100%. And I think what we can gather from Sunny's story of lost Bitcoin is if you have kids, keep your Bitcoin wallet in another phone that you don't give your kids. Like, let them play with the phone, the
No,
one
I
that you
mean,
use for your
Shambhavi, I
normal
think the
business.
whole thing is if you have those 12 words and 24 words secure, anything can happen. Like phone can
Doesn't
go
matter.
die. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter because
exactly.
That is
you
true.
have those backups. So just make sure you backing up properly. It's not hard to secure 24 words or 12 words. It's that it's I don't
And
understand.
all
People
these
find that.
wallets, when you start it at the beginning, they'll tell you, "Hey, write these down," but then they'll have a little skip button. Don't press the skip button. Never press the skip
I
button.
did that the first time.
See, I knew it. But yeah, it's. I mean, humans are lazy, right? And sometimes the best way to learn, unfortunately, is by making mistakes. So start small and work your way up. Yeah.
Yeah. And there
Yeah,
are people
that is
on
very
Twitter
smart.
who can help you. Like as Shambhavi said, Desi Bitcoin Show. There are folks who can help you in Hindi if you want. They have a technical Tuesdays, which is I think scheduled from 7 p.m. to 9 or 8, where people come and ask about self custody. So in Hindi. So there are stuff which you can find as well. Like people are doing it in India.
Good. Good.
And I really appreciate those efforts because I don't see any other community doing such selfless work. I mean, we see a lot of community around crypto, and they are doing a lot of work on the fronts of awareness, on the fronts of mass adoption. But then this is something that everybody needs to learn and understand and to begin with. क्योंकि Bitcoin is the मतलब क्या बोले, it's the creator of every other technology in Web3 that currently exists. So अगर Bitcoin ही नहीं समझा and you moved forward with other things, I mean, it's of no use because at the end of the day, you're gonna come running back to Bitcoin. And I think an interesting person tweeted about that as well, and I retweeted that saying the same thing, like, +1,
No,
because you're
study,
gonna come
study
back to
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, study Bitcoin. I can't emphasize enough. Like, it's a very important asset. Don't believe in what people say, what Sunny is saying, what I'm saying, what Shambhu is saying, what Prime Minister is saying, or President is saying. Just do your own research. I think it's something. I'm thankful to my professor. So
And I'm thankful to my professor, Mr. Sunny Ray here, because he's the one who's taught me
No,
the
come on.
most about Bitcoin.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say
Satvik,
Satvik is
indeed, yes.
officially a professor now. He's officially a
No,
professor,
Satvik, yes.
so
I mean, both of you, you guys have
but
taught me
yeah.
literally from basics to everything about Bitcoin and other things in the industry as well. So, I mean, I can't thank you guys enough for that.
Hey,
So,
hey,
now let's.
Shambhavi, I might have to duck out a bit early because I gotta head to the conference and I have some people here. I don't know
Oh,
if you
yeah,
guys
yeah,
can
no
keep going
worries.
without me but I mean, to be honest, I
Well,
think, like I said, I've said my piece a million times. I mean, I think Aditya's got a really refreshing kind of take on all this. So, yeah, I like the
absolutely. Let
posters
me
in the
know.
back as well, Aditya.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
is
yeah,
that
I was
okay?
gonna ask him, where did he get
And
him?
I'll send you guys some pictures with like I said, the founder of Cold Card, if he lets me take a picture with him and some of these
I think
other
he's
like
anonymous on Twitter, so I don't think so. He'll allow you picture. I don't know. Maybe for the personal use, but on Twitter and all, he's anonymous. Nobody knows his face.
there you go. You just set forward a challenge for me. Let's see. Let me see if I can dox NBK. No, I'm kidding. No, I'll see. Yeah, that's a good point. He probably doesn't like it, but I did see him. So, anyways, thanks for logging in. I'm gonna sign off. Yeah. All right, take care,
Bye,
guys.
Sunny. Thanks for
Thanks,
joining.
Sunny.
Okay, Aditya, looks like it's me and you answering all of these questions over here now. So let's dive and see कि what all do we have here. And हम कोशिश करेंगे, we'll try and keep it more Hindi क्योंकि हमारी audience is Indian, so मतलब ये एक मेरा भी preference रहता है कि हम हिंदी में बात करके लोगों को easily समझा पाएं, which I understand could
Yeah.
be a challenge, but
And that's
let's
what
see.
I'm saying. ये हिंदी में knowledge share करना बहुत जरूरी है, and I think that's why हम वो podcast भी ला रहे हैं हिंदी में, right? कि हिंदी में
बिल्कुल
बोले,
बिल्कुल
and it's coming. If you follow me on Twitter, you will see it.
बाय द वे गाइस, प्लीज आदित्य को ट्विटर पे फॉलो कर लीजिए, उनोकॉइन के भी हैंडल को फॉलो कर लीजिए, सनी को भी फॉलो कर लीजिए, मन करे तो मेरे को भी फॉलो कर लीजिएगा, आई मीन आई वोंट माइंड. एंड व्हाट विल हैपन विद दिस इज, इफ यू फॉलो दीज पीपल, इफ यू फॉलो उनोकॉइन, इफ यू फॉलो आदित्य, इफ यू फॉलो सनी, you will get a lot of information on a daily basis. जो हम कहते हैं ना कि अगर किसी चीज के बारे में सीखना है तो न्यूज देखो, न्यूज पढ़ो, you will get half the knowledge about politics, you will get most of the things about a certain economic aspect. तो वही सेम चीज होती है क्रिप्टो बिटकॉइन के साथ भी. जितना भी आप न्यूज देखोगे, जितना भी आप न्यूज पढ़ोगे, अपडेट्स देखोगे, उतना ही ज्यादा आप इसके बारे में सीखते जाओगे. ठीक है, और लेट्स सी यहाँ पे क्या है. विव कह रहे हैं नॉट योर कीज नॉट योर बिटकॉइन. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. एंड ईटीएफ के साथ भी यही चीज है. अब कीज तो हमारी है नहीं वहां पे, तो पता नहीं लोग कैसे अपना बिटकॉइन इसको मान रहे हैं. बट अब जो है ठीक है, मास अडॉप्शन के लिए इट्स अ गुड मूव एंड इट्स इवेंचुअली गोना ब्रिंग अ लॉट ऑफ पोटेंशियल टू द मार्केट. सो वी आर वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक अबाउट दैट. एंड ओके, ठीक है. सो प्रदीप, आई थिंक अभिजीत को एडवाइस दे रहे थे, सेइंग कि डोंट ट्राई टू जनरेट योर ओन सीड फ्रेज, ह्यूमन हैव लो एंट्रोपी, so your seed phrase can be guessed by hackers. True.
Oh, Pradeep is from DBS, so yeah,
Yes,
he's
yes, yes. I
he's the BTC
recognized him.
session of India. Yeah.
बिल्कुल. एंड आई थिंक मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ सेंस, क्योंकि हमारा जो गेस करने का कैपेसिटी वो एक लिमिटेड उसमें ही है. एंड फॉर श्योर अगर किसी हैकर ने कुछ ऐसा प्रोग्राम कर दिया कि जिससे पता चल जाए कि हम किस डायरेक्शन में सोच रहे हैं, तो उनके लिए हैक करना बहुत आसान हो जाएगा. विव, डू यू थिंक देयर इज अ चांस दैट गवर्नमेंट डिसाइड्स टू. अच्छा ठीक है विव, मैं आपके सवाल का जवाब आदित्य से लूंगी. उसके पहले मिलिंद यहाँ पे कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग चीज कह रहे हैं. मिलिंद कह रहे हैं मैं फॉलो कर रहा हूँ आदित्य को, बिटकॉइन गिव अवे करो आदित्य. अरे यार ये क्या बात है मिलिंद.
Sats giveaway or Bitcoin giveaway, भाई? Like,
बिटकॉइन गिव अवे, हम ऑरेंज पिल नहीं हुए अभी तक, आप बताओ. नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल. आई मीन गिव अवे इज नॉट समथिंग दैट यू शुड लुक फॉरवर्ड टू. यू शुड लुक फॉरवर्ड टू लर्निंग अबाउट द टेक्नोलॉजी, एंड देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स. एसबीपी यूज करो. आई मीन इफ यू आर अर्निंग अ बेयर मिनिमम ऑफ 30,000 पर मंथ, आप 3,000 निकालो, उसका 10% निकालो, एंड आप उसको एसबीपी में इन्वेस्ट करो उनोकॉइन का यूज करके. एंड इससे आप रुपी कॉस्ट एवरेजिंग कर सकते हो, और बहुत इजीली आप बिटकॉइन में इन्वेस्ट कर पाओगे. आपको
yeah.
गिव अवे के लिए बोलने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी.
एंड यहाँ पे कोई फाइनेंशियल एडवाइस नहीं है, बट मैं यही बोलता हूँ कि स्टडी करो. लाइक ठीक है, साथ साथ में अगर आपको करना भी इन्वेस्ट करो, आपकी मर्जी, आपका पैसा है, बट एट द सेम टाइम उसको पढ़ते भी रहो, सो दैट वो ऑटोमेटिक आपको पता होना चाहिए. क्योंकि हमेशा हमें ऐसा एसेट मिला है, स्टॉक मार्केट हो जाए या रियल एस्टेट हो जाए या गोल्ड हो जाए, किसी को कुछ पता नहीं है किस तरह काम कर रहा है, बस उनको इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, राइट. बट ये बिटकॉइन एक अपॉर्चुनिटी देता है कि तुम उसको समझ सकते हो, और अगर तुमने बिटकॉइन को अच्छे से समझा तो तुमने इकोनॉमिक्स, फिलोसफी, हिस्ट्री, साइंस, मैथमेटिक्स, तुम सब सीख लोगे. लाइक यू इट्स अ वेरी फैंटास्टिक जर्नी.
मिलिंद कह रहे कंप्लीटेड द बिटकॉइन स्टैंडर्ड. ग्रेट
Oh,
मिलिंद.
wow.
तो अब तब तो
Congrats.
आपको नहीं मांगना चाहिए यार गिव अवे. क्या बात कर दी फिर आपने. बट इंडीड अगर मैं और आदित्य इतने अमीर हो जाते तो हम लोग मिल करके एक बहुत अच्छा सा छोटा सा गिव अवे करेंगे लकी विनर्स के लिए. लेकिन उसके लिए हाँ, यू हैव टू स्टडी एंड यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द टेक्नोलॉजी फर्स्ट, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट अबाउट गिव अवेज, इट्स अबाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट्स कमिंग फोर्थ. एंड आदित्य, यू नो समथिंग दैट आई फील इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. I was terrible at maths in school. Terrible. I was so terrible that I did not take commerce with maths. I took commerce with computer because I was good at coding back then. Which was a very weird combination, by the way. There were just two students from commerce who took commerce with computer. And, you know, I had to go full-fledged into journalism. And I was like, yeah, I'll go all political opinions, reshaping the country, this and that, all idealist. Then I landed into crypto with Bitcoin and at Unocoin.
Nice.
Now, when I understand these things, I am sometimes so stunned that what was the maths that I was studying over there? This is the maths that I should have studied. This is the kind of knowledge that we were supposed to receive over there. And I mean, you put all of those equations very often. It's a little hard for me to understand, but then I put a lot of effort, energy thinking, yacha, what might this mean over there?
Yeah,
And
and just to clarify, there's only two monetary rules in Bitcoin. It's not complicated. There's only two rules. One is 21 million only. Nobody can change it. 2 करोड़ 10 लाख, उससे ज्यादा बिटकॉइन इस दुनिया में नहीं आ सकते. हम 9,000 करोड़ लोग हैं, बट आई डोंट नो 9,000 बिलियन लोग हैं, सॉरी 9 बिलियन लोग हैं, उसके लिए सिर्फ 21 मिलियन बिटकॉइन है। ये एक पहला रूल है। और दूसरा रूल है कि हर लाइक देर आर, वो फॉर्मूला भी यही है, लाइक व्हेन सतोशी स्टार्टेड विद 50 बिटकॉइंस हर 10 मिनट्स, एज सुन एज वो 2,10,000 ब्लॉक्स माइन हो जाते हैं, तो जैसे ही वो 2,10,000 माइन हो जाते हैं, वो जो रिवॉर्ड है कि हर 10 मिनट में जब 50 बिटकॉइन बर्थ लेते थे, अब वो 25 ले रहे थे 2012 में। 2016 में वो गिर के 12.5 हो गए, 2020 में वो 6.25 हो गए, और अब 2024 में जो आने वाला अभी अप्रैल है, जब 2,10,000 अब कंप्लीट हो गया, और तो हमारे बिटकॉइन 10 मिनट में सिर्फ अब 3.125 बिटकॉइन माइन हो गया हर 10 मिनट में। तो ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि सप्लाई दिन पे दिन कम होते जा रहा है बिटकॉइन का, और डिमांड दिन पे दिन बढ़ती जा रही है। फिर अब आप आपका इक्वेशन लगाओ क्या हो रहा है।
बिल्कुल। एंड वो उस एंड पे तो बिल्कुल आई थिंक इट्स अ मेजर इवेंट जहाँ पे सप्लाई कम हो रही है। साथ ही साथ एक और इवेंट हुआ है जिसके बारे में आई थिंक कल कोई तो बात कर रहा था कि ब्लैक रॉक कितने बिटकॉइंस एक्वायर कर रहा है
पच्चीस
एवरी डे। तो
हजार
अभी उसके पास कुछ 16,000 के लगभग
25,000 हो
बिटकॉइंस।
गए आज।
अब 25,000 हो गए। अरे बाप रे बाप।
Yeah,
तो
he
सी
they have 25,000 in their custody as of today.
Yeah, 900 bitcoins are being produced every day. They already have 2,500 of those. So, I mean, it's
25,000.
25,000 of those. Oh my God, I'm just getting my zeros are all over the place here. And see, I mean, kitne zyada bitcoins are getting wiped out of the market, and you can just see how much demand is it going to drive. So, मतलब बहुत जरूरी है. This is the
एंड
time.
सेल्फ कस्टडी इसलिए जरूरी है, अगर आप चार्ट भी देखो, आई थिंक मैं भी आई एम रॉन्ग, बट अभी राइट नाउ 19 लाइक 19.5 मिलियन
Yes.
बिटकॉइन इज दुनिया में है। अभी 1.5 अभी तक माइन नहीं हुए, वो हो गए नेक्स्ट 100 ईयर्स में। बट 19.5 मिलियन से अगर तुम 3 मिलियन निकाल दो जो लूज हो गए, लेट्स से 16.5, 1 मिलियन लेट्स से सतोशी का, लाइक 15 मिलियन ऑन एवरेज पकड़ो, उसमें से आई थिंक 70% हैज नॉट इज इन सेल्फ कस्टडी राइट नाउ, 70%। सो जो भी आप एक्सचेंजेस पे देखते हो, वो सिर्फ 30% बिटकॉइन जो है वो एक्सचेंजेस पे, 70% लोगों ने उसको सेल्फ कस्टडी करके रखा है। तो या इट्स दैट्स व्हाई इट्स सो इम्पोर्टेंट टू डू द सेल्फ कस्टडी।
बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है आदित्य। एंड वही बात है कि बिटकॉइन का पूरा पर्पस ही है टू टेक कंट्रोल ऑफ योर ओन मनी, जो कि आज के टाइम में बहुत लोग समझ नहीं पाते हैं। एंड जिस दिन आप लोग ये सारी चीजें, मतलब अगर आप समझते नहीं होते तो आप यहाँ होते नहीं। तो आई वुड वेरी मच अर्ज ऑल ऑफ यू टू एजुकेट योर पीपल अराउंड यू, एंड उन्हें भी इस बारे में बताओ, समझाओ कि ये क्यों जरूरी है। अब बिलाल ने यहाँ पे काफी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज बोली है आदित्य। बिलाल कहते हैं, व्हाट इफ वी लर्न अबाउट बिटकॉइन वी गेट all the knowledge about the history, philosophy, bet size on the basis of bitcoin.
या
आप एक बार
ट्रू।
पढ़ के देखो। आप एक बार पढ़ के देखो और उसके
नहीं, वो
बाद
बोल रहे हैं या पूछ रहे हैं?
सो दैट्स मोर ऑफ अ एक्सक्लेमेटरी स्टेटमेंट कि अगर
या
मैंने
इट इज,
बिटकॉइन पढ़ लिया
इट्स
तो
ट्रू,
मुझे सब क्या मैं सीख
इट्स ट्रू।
लूंगा।
मैं
सो
बहुत मैंने जब बिटकॉइन पढ़ना स्टार्ट किया, मेरे को कुछ भी नहीं पता था, राइट? लाइक आई डिडंट न्यू हाउ मनी वर्क्स, हाउ इकोनॉमी वर्क्स, इवन दो आई एम अकाउंटिंग स्टूडेंट, आई डिड मास्टर्स इन अकाउंटिंग इन यूएस एंड स्टिल आई हैड नो आइडिया। जब तुम बिटकॉइन पढ़ना शुरू करते हो तो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन तुम्हारे दिमाग में आएगा, मुझे ये क्यों चाहिए, इसका वैल्यू क्या है, लाइक कि ये एक टोकन है, ये क्यों चाहिए? जब तुम वो पढ़ने का वो आंसर ढूंढना, इफ यू आर क्यूरियस बाय नेचर, if you really because I take my personal wealth very seriously, I don't invest in stuff which I don't believe in. So if I'm investing in something, I did my own research, and then जब तुम खुद पढ़ते रहते हो तो I think yeah, it's I agree with you Bilal.
बिल्कुल। एंड I mean, I cannot, say this enough times today, but it's very necessary to read it, to learn about it, because I see a lot of people right now around me who think of Bitcoin as the only thing that can save them, and which is very much true. And we have a lot of people we talk to on a daily basis in this regard. And I mean, उनकी एनालॉजीज, उनकी थ्योरीज गलत नहीं है। एंड अगर हम एक बिगर पिक्चर की तरफ देख रहे हैं, थोड़ा सा अपने कैजुअल सराउंडिंग के एटमॉस्फेयर से थोड़ा बाहर देखने की कोशिश करें, तो हमको भी समझ में आएगा कि ये क्यों इतना इम्पोर्टेंट है। मिलिंद कह रहे हैं कि यू बोथ लुक ब्यूटीफुल। थैंक यू सो मच मिलिंद, दैट्स सो स्वीट ऑफ यू। लेकिन हम फिर भी गिव अवे नहीं करेंगे। Okay, so I think Aditya, on this note, do you have any concluding remarks for today's session?
No, I think that's just if you want to learn in Hindi Bitcoin, yeah, definitely on my Twitter follow study Bitcoin 21, and because my goal is to कि हिंदी में किस तरह Bitcoin लोगों के सामने लाया जाए, like मैं कोई एडवाइस नहीं देता बाय सेल वगैरह, जस्ट वो, एंड मैं बस यही बोलूँगा सबको कि इस एसेट को समझिए, सीखिए, एंड अगर आपको पसंद आ रहा है, बिलीव है, तो ठीक है। इट्स लाइक इंटरनेट, जब इंटरनेट बन रहा था 1995 1996, जिसको बिलीव था अमेजोन एप्पल गूगल में, वो लोगों ने इन्वेस्ट किया तब। तो इट्स लाइक अ बेट, राइट? दे पुट इट ऑन इंटरनेट एंड ऑल, एंड इट्स ऑल अबाउट लाइक इफ यू रियली स्टडी समथिंग यू माइट फाइंड समथिंग, एंड इफ लेट्स से पढ़ने के बाद तुम्हें ऐसा लगता है कि यार नहीं ये मेरे लिए नहीं है, मूव ऑन, इट्स फाइन, लाइक देयर आर अदर थिंग्स।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। सो हमारे पास एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन है, एंड विफ का यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन था जो पूछना चाह रहे कि डू यू थिंक दैट देयर इज अ चांस दैट द गवर्नमेंट डिसाइड्स टू बैन सेल्फ कस्टडी? द यूरोपियन यूनियन इज ट्राइंग टू डू द सेम राइट नाउ, सो व्हाट
See,
डू यू थिंक?
no, I mean, I'll ask you the question: will earthquake come tomorrow, or will there be a tsunami tomorrow, or can you answer it? No. So there is no answer right now. Don't worry about things which is not in your control. What government will do? Because सब जब इंटरनेट भी बन रहा था यही हो रहा था कि government will not allow internet. इंटरनेट पे सिर्फ bad activities ही होगी. But today, let's see, we are talking on internet. So it's again that's the question nobody can answer for you, and if somebody is also answering they are lying to you because nobody knows.
Exactly. I mean, these things cannot be anticipated for certain ever.
Yeah.
गवर्नमेंट का दिमाग कब घूम जाए, कब वो चीज़ें ईज़ अप कर दे, कब वो चीज़ें मुश्किल कर दें, कुछ नहीं कहा जा सकता. We don't have insider information on that. So I think on this note, Aditya will be concluding our session for today. Thank you so much for accepting our invite and, giving us so many valuable insights on how to do self custody. आई थिंक ये सेशन काफ़ी नहीं था और हमें जल्दी एक और सेशन करना पड़ेगा ऑन हाउ टू डू सेल्फ कस्टडी, क्योंकि वो पार्ट आज रह गया कवर करने से. एंड विफ कह रहे हैं कि अच्छा ओके, सो थैंक यू एवरीबडी फॉर ज्वाइनिंग इन, एंड बहुत ही अच्छा सेशन था. आप ज्वाइन करते रहिएगा, हर हफ्ते हम ये करते हैं. और भी इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए आदित्य को फॉलो कर लीजिए, सनी को फॉलो कर लीजिए, सात्विक को फॉलो कर लीजिए, ट्विटर पे उनोकॉइन को फॉलो कर लीजिए, एंड you'll get a lot of interesting insights from there. This will be all for today. We'll see you again next week. Bye bye. Good night. See you.
Thank you.